Hello, and welcome to this edition of EMS Now Up Close. I am Eric Miskell with EMS Now, and today I have the pleasure of speaking to two gentlemen with Koh Young America. Let me introduce, I'm not sure which quadrant they'll appear on the screen, but we have Hector Hernandez, who's the regional sales manager for Koh Young America. And we have Heriberto Cuevas, who's sales manager leader for Mexico and South America with Koh Young America. So, gentlemen, welcome to both of you. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. I wanted to give you a chance first to maybe introduce yourselves, your background in the industry, and what your role is within Koh Young. And Heri, why don't I begin with you, sir?
Thank you, Eric. It's a pleasure to be here. Let me try to start with the background since some years ago. I used to work in Benchmark, Guadalajara. I started as a AOI programmer, mainly for that. So with the years, I've been, growing internally. So I reached out the engineer leader for all the optical machines there. So why I mention this? Because my experience is all related to this kind of automated optical inspections. So nowadays I am in Koh Young America. So I started also as a applications project manager. So far I've been also playing a role with new applications, evaluations, that kind of things. And now I'm taking the role as a sales manager, team leader for Mexico and South America.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for that. And you're right, that's great background. I didn't realize that, starting on the AOI, and here you are working for a company that's one of the leaders in the field. That's excellent.
That's right.
Hector, why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
Hey, hello, Eric. First of all, thanks so much for inviting us. For us, it's really important to be here, and also thank you for all the audience that is here taking the time to be part of this interview. I'm Hector Hernandez, working in Koh Young as a regional sales manager. And I could define my professional career at least 9 years, past last 9 years, like just with one word: sales. I've been working in Repstronics for almost 9 years in sales. I started working in Monterrey, Coahuila, Durango, covering all that area, very attractive for manufacturers. And also, in one part of my life, I took the decision to move out to Baja California, knowing more companies, more customers, new challenges for sure, new sectors for the manufacturer industry. And then I was promoted to be a national sales account manager in Repstronics. This gave me the opportunity to travel around Mexico, knowing more customers, more companies. And at the end of the day, I have the privilege to be here, part of the Koh Young sales team. I'm covering Chihuahua, Sonora, Baja California, also some accounts here in Guadalajara, and also Costa Rica. That's my background. Just like summarize, I will say always sales.
Very good. Yes, excellent. And the Repstronics, I know I had the opportunity to interview Nacho there a while back, who with Repstronics, and I know their Koh Young is a big account for them, and they do a great job there. Excellent. Well, perfect. Well, gentlemen, I wanted to take an opportunity, since you happen to work and focus on a region of the industry that is very, very busy, very, very important, and in my opinion, one of the best areas to build manufacturing, electronics manufacturing on the planet. I think Mexico is fantastic. So I just wanted to kind of get your impression about the overall current business environment there and some of the issues that it might be facing as we go into what should prove to be a very interesting year. So Heri, why don't I start with you? What's your just general sense of the business environment for electronics manufacturing in Mexico these days?
Well, Eric, this is a very good question, because since I have my memory working in this industry, so we have been facing several changes. since the old technology in the electronics, which is for now THD, it's coming again, coming back. So to the transition to the SMT technology. So nowadays we are also looking the introduction of the semiconductor products, right? So this kind of a mix has been very challenging in some way for the industry. But at the same time, I may say the universities, all the schools we have in Mexico, including the professionals that are already working in this industry, are being learning and applying, the experience they've been getting with the pass of the years in a good way. So I may say for now, the industry is still growing in a good numbers, but also facing some challenge we need to figure out how to deal with, and that is part of the nearshoring. As we know, it's Mexico part of this kind of movement. And also, I would say that this transition for electric vehicles, it's something that will be also, we need to be involved and ready for that, right? So it is in some way steady and healthy, the projection we see for the future, of course, in the short term. So I think in the good way.
Yeah, no, very good. And I want to follow up on some of the items you mentioned there in just a bit, but let me just ask Hector if for his general impression. How do you view it? I'm assuming somewhat favorably, like Harry.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Yes, that's right. Supporting the idea what Heriberto said, Mexico is very attractive for new manufacturers. We have seen that during the last few years. A lot of companies coming from Asia in the mandatory way, new products, new projects coming from there. So I think the geographic place, the location of Mexico is very attractive because of the closeness that we have with United States. So in the last year, after the pandemic, we saw growth with a lot of projects in Mexico, coming with more automotive products. As you know, the electrical cars, the EVs production is coming to Mexico, and also we have seen medicals and also military products are coming here to Mexico. It is very attractive for a lot of manufacturers. The EMS companies, they are investing a lot here in Mexico, and also the contract manufacturers, we have seen more products coming here. So I think in 2022, we had a really good year in sales. I'm talking about for Koh Young, but also I saw a lot of sales in different brands. So it is pretty good to see all the investment here in Mexico, because that makes some opportunities for many people, jobs, and also good salaries that we have seen in the last few years here in Mexico, at least.
Yeah. And both of you gentlemen touched on a similar issue there, which was the other companies coming to Mexico now and the investment that happens and whether those. So talk about that. And maybe Ari, I'll start with you, kind of the impact that reshoring has had in bringing maybe other companies, specifically maybe out of Taiwan, EMS or ODMs. Do you see an increase in the activity? What are you seeing?
Yes, Eric. I think some of the good growth that we have been seeing in the country, it is related to nearshoring. This kind of geographical location we have, it's something that too many brands, I may say, consider as a benefit and advantage to position some factories here, operations in general. So, of course, Taiwan is not the exception. They are like trying to, I think, increase the participation on the market. As we know, around of 20 new companies are starting operations in Mexico, at least in the 1 or 2 years. So this will be triggering some good, let's say, business, and also increasing the catalog of products that will be producing in the country. And again, a new challenge, new challenges that also are very positive for us as a people, as a staff, as a companies, to deal and learn something new. So this nearshoring, Eric, I think is not end yet. I may say it's just beginning. So for sure, we'll be seeing more activity related to that. So that's why I think the USMCA, which is the TMEC, as we know here in Mexico, is part of the success of this kind of a nearshoring. So I don't have any doubt that in the future, so we'll be having more trades and more market between all the countries, including more sale of the Taiwanese companies.
Yeah. No, excellent point. I didn't realize that, the 20 companies. So Hector, that has to also maybe add some pressure as far as workforce, right? Finding good quality people. That's got to be, with more companies coming in, there's got to be more competition for workers as well then.
That's right. And it is an important point to mention that right now the universities are focused on the SMT facilities or plants in the SMT education. In the universities, they have the support of the SMTA organization right now in order to have the knowledge for this kind of products. As we know, there are a lot of companies that are coming. We have seen around more than 20 companies that have arrived in Mexico during the last 5 years. So the professionals here in Mexico, the new engineers, has to be ready for these new challenges in order to bring more products, more projects, which is very attractive for the Mexican people, for the Mexican employees to have better salaries, better opportunities to grow. We have seen this nearshoring during the last 5 years. So it is good for us. It is good for the Mexican people, for the students that normally, after the university, is kind of difficult to get a job. With these new opportunities for the economy in Mexico, it is a good way to start. As Heriberto said, this is the beginning. We know with the new relationship that we have with Asia, with Taiwan, with also the strong relationship that we have with United States, we will have more companies, more facilities, and more projects here in Mexico, giving us the opportunity to be more attractive for the world.
Yeah. No, excellent points. And, with that, I'm glad to hear that the university is helping or training and preparing people and focusing on that. And we can maybe talk about some training things in a bit, but I wanted to cycle back. The other thing that goes with that then, area is and you had mentioned it about the semiconductor industry, right? So they're starting to see a development there. So you're going to see, so how do you see the potential for semiconductor development in Mexico?
Well, so far, Eric, I would say that maybe 1% of the companies in Mexico are dedicated to produce some semicon product. But the expectation is to have a growth in the number, maybe 5% per year. So the projection for 2027, it's go from $36 billion to maybe $41 billion. It's not maybe a huge increase, but at the end it's a growth. So yep. Something we are very sure that in the following years for sure will be more attractive to produce that kind of semiconductors here. So also, as we know, the US companies are intended to invest more in Mexico for having more production for America, of course, and less dependency on the Asia semiconductors products,
Yeah, no, exactly right. And Hector, as he says that, I'm thinking, are there particular areas within Mexico that'll benefit more than others? Maybe will it be the ones maybe closer to the U.S. border rather than deeper in? How will that?
That's a good point, Eric, because as I said, the relationship with the United States, it's gonna be much better. And for this factor, after the pandemic, that we saw that the supply chain needs to change a little bit, because having all the semiconductor sector in Asia maybe right now it is a good idea, but to bring here to America, and Mexico can be a good candidate to increase this sector, because we have the technology for sure. As Heriberto mentioned, there are a lot of investments for the near future, and with the relationship with the United States, I think the semiconductor industry can come with more strength. So we can have better facilities here. The technology, for sure, we need more industries here. Right now, we have some companies here in Mexico working in that sector. But for the near future, I'm pretty sure that there are going to be more companies manufacturing semiconductors. It is something that is going to be related to the future. As we have seen, the microelectronics is it is a continued process that we need more semiconductors, the electrical cars, the new devices. Everything right now with the technology is asking for more semiconductors. So we need to bring also that technology to Mexico. And I think the border of Mexico is prepared to host all this new industry. And with the United States here, we can take advantage of our geographic location in order to develop these kind of technologies.
Yeah. And Harry, as I listen to what Hector says there, I'm thinking about, it sounds like the growth of trade with the United States is certainly continuing to grow. Are there, and we didn't talk about EVs very heavily yet, but is it semiconductor and EVs? What are the sectors? What's really driving that?
Well, Eric, another good question. I may say the key word for this new game, it's nearshoring, right? So the nearshoring has been triggering several things that maybe some years ago we didn't think about it. So that means, for instance, since the USMCA started to operate back on July 2020, so one specific rule there, it's the 70% of the components for automotive production should be produced in this kind of countries, you know, USA, Canada, and Mexico. So that's why the trade between these countries, specifically Mexico and USA, I think it's getting stronger, you know, because, for instance, the last month, we realized that we turned out in the first business partner with the US, surpassing to China. So for us, that is a good indicator that this is only the beginning for something better. So of course, the trading, it is all tied to the knowledge, the skills, the company, the investment, these agreements between countries. And at the end, again, we are very confident that we'll be bringing better days than today.
Yeah, exactly. Hector, how do you view this issue?
Yeah, that's right. I'm supporting what Heriberto said. And it is important to mention that Koh Young is looking for these kind of technologies. We have developed different machines, different technologies to cover these capabilities. We know that this is the future. We are pretty sure that we can support all the manufacturers for the semiconductors. We are thinking beyond of the traditional SMT processes and develop more for the semiconductors. We know, and we're pretty sure that this is coming shortly. So in Koh Young, we are working on getting more technology, for covering all those sectors. So we are supporting that idea, and we are pretty sure that we have the semiconductors industry more closely here in Mexico and also in United States. It is almost done.
Right. No. And I know there's a big, I think they said that from the 51 billion for the CHIPS Act in the United States of the government money has attracted way over $200 billion in private money has brought too. So, you know, the government kind of gave an indicator, a lead, and the industry is now flowing in. And so hopefully that trend benefits down in Mexico as well. So But speaking of government, I have to ask, and Harry, maybe I start, every 12 years we have this unique situation where there's an election on both sides of the border, right? And that year is this year. So it should be interesting. And people always look to that, right? Election years can be disruptive. What do you think the pending elections on both sides, what are the implications for business and the economy, do you think?
Let me start with this, I think, good information, Eric, which is we consider this is going to be the large election in Mexico, where around of 98 million people will be, delivering the ballots next June for deciding who is going to be the next president. Additional, the low and high chamber also will be defining this election. So if we combine the numbers with the US, we are talking about maybe more than 250 million people, submitting the ballots. I think it's a huge situation, but for sure being optimistic. So every change should be an opportunity for everyone, right? So of course they may be changes, but I strongly believe we have the structure, the base, solid base for continue with this growth in the both countries. So also going back a little bit to the USMCA agreement. So this agreement is for the next 16 years. Of course, every 6 years we need to have a checkpoint, a review, and do the proper changes if needed. But at the end, 16 years. So I think this is a kind of a lot for having this good business relationship and be a good partner and continue with the growing in the business. So I don't want to be negative, Eric. I want to be very positive, because I know both countries were aware the situation is more to be like a team, right? So for benefit of all the people here.
Yeah, no, very good. Hector, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think it is a unique event, democracy event in both countries. I think everybody's waiting for the results. Also here in Mexico, it is an important part of our democracy for sure. And a lot of people are waiting for events, and maybe in the construction, cars, automotive sectors, in order to wait to see what happened in June. So I think this will be really a very important event for both countries. And I think, and I'm pretty sure after the election, everything will be better for us. The investments will come to both countries. I think in Mexico we'll go for the right path in order to grow in the professional careers, in the new challenges that this represents. But I think the election, it is a good time to take a reflection and see what we need for the future. I think it is the same in the United States. And after that, we will see new projects coming with the new governments, and everything will be okay in that part. Actually, it is not the unique election here in Mexico and USA. Also in the geopolitics, it is an interesting topic right now. There are elections in many parts of the world that represent an impact in the economy, in the strategies, in the investments. But I think we are gonna be okay, as we have seen in the last years. So we are prepared for that. I think the industry here in Mexico is solid. So this is just a step that we need to cross.
Yeah. No, I appreciate those comments. And it made me think, our old president up here, Ronald Reagan, once famously said for election, he called it the silly season, right? It's when a lot of silliness happens, and you have to kind of tune out some of that and focus on it. And we'll get through this. But I agree with both of you, John. I think the business relationship between the two countries is so solid and positive that it will continue regardless of who wins elections on either side of the border.
That's
right? I think the basic fundamentals and areas you're pointing out with the USMCA and the timing and all that, I think this is an important relationship and a very successful relationship, and we all hope that that continues as such. Before I end and let you go, I do want to talk about any kind of upcoming events that you guys have and that you'll be participating with. So people who are watching who might be interested in learning more, getting involved, or maybe even meeting you in person can be aware of it. So maybe Ari, start with you, kind of any upcoming webinar shows, kind of any other activities you may be having.
Thank you, Eric. Yes, I think the biggest show that we'll be attending very soon in some weeks is the IPC Apex, right? The edition 2024. In this trade show, Eric, we used to present the very new thing we have as a brand. So for now, as a company, I may say we are not thinking in the future as we are in the present, talking about the industry 4.0. So in that matter, so Koh Young has been working since some years ago, and we are very solid on that. So we will be presenting the newest thing, which is our machine with camera 25 megapixel. This is the ultra high speed system. So we'll be showing other solutions for industry 4.0, which is a KPO for printer and mounter, where we want to show how these, let's say, smart tools can help to increase your productivity, to be more efficient in the process, and of course, do something in other smart way, less human dependent. So yes. Additionally, Eric, so also we are going to be presenting the new stuff for KSmart, which is our suite of tools for Industry 4.0. And in this matter, Eric, so we want to invite you to say hi in the booth to us, the new guys in Koh Young, and you are more than welcome to talk with us about any solutions we have.
Excellent, excellent. Hector, what other activities would you want to mention?
Yeah, additional to the Apex, which is the biggest show for us, we have events here in Mexico. Koh Young America is always supporting the SNTA organization. So we are going to participate in the different tabletops events, SNTA Juárez, Chihuahua, Querétaro, and also Tijuana. We are going to be there in the month of May. It is going to be in Juárez, June in Querétaro, August in Chihuahua, we will be there, and also in Tijuana for the end of the year. For us, it's really important to be in all those tabletops events because it is important to bring and spread the knowledge that we have for the industry. There are a lot of engineers that participate in this kind of events, and for us, it's important to be in contact through this digital media and also in these tabletop shows that are in Mexico. For us, it's to be important to participate, and also looking for that digital contact with all our customers, with the users that needs to know more about Koh Young. We have different webinars and workshops. We will have in the month of April a workshop for our SPI in order to spread the knowledge, best practices, new algorithms, new technology that we have with our SPI. We will present a workshop for this kind of technology, in this case, the SPI. And also we will have a technical day in Querétaro in June in order to bring all those customers and engineers that are interested in knowing more about Koh Young. We will have this technical day in Querétaro, which is a place that it is increasing a lot, that they are bringing more technology. So for us, it's really important to be part of this growth. So they are the events that we will have during the year, different webinars, workshops, also test days. We will review the dates for the Guadalajara test day as well, and the different SMTAs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the various tabletops. I just participated or attended, I should say, the SMTA tabletop here in Dallas earlier this week, and Koh Young was right there, right? So they don't have all the equipment out, but you're able to get the information and engage, as you're saying, with the local engineers in the area who do come to those events, and they are very important. So thank you for mentioning that. That's an important element. So. Well, gentlemen, thank you very, very much for your time today. This has been very interesting. It's very informative. I would encourage anybody watching, you have their names there. Please reach out to them if you have any questions or wish to connect. You know where you can find them in person at both at Apex in a couple weeks and then various shows beyond. And I would also say what Hector was saying about the various webinars is the Koh Young LinkedIn group is also very good and very informative, where you can get updates on various webinars and activities that they're planning. So I would point people there too. Gentlemen, thank you very much. This has been very excellent. I look forward to seeing you both in person, and I will take you up on the offer to come by your booth and see you in Anaheim in a few weeks. So
You're more than welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Cheers.